Norfolk and Western articulated steam locomotive number 1218 pulls out of the roundhouse and onto the turntable at Roanoke, Virginia. This scene is part of the big N&W empire belonging to Tony Lash. It's a place where he escapes the frustrations and pressures of operating his business, a happy place where he loves to entertain children, and a place that stirs childhood memories of growing up around the N&W in Roanoke.
Well, I love Norfolk and Western, and I love Norfolk Southern too. And that's basically because of my grandfather. He worked there. I grew up watching Norfolk and Western trains all of my life. I've ridden on the Y6B, not once, not twice, but a number of times. I can't even count how many times. I remember my grandfather carrying me down in the East End shop. That's where the J's were built, in the East End shop. Schaefer's Crossing is the West End shop, and that was primarily a maintenance facility. But the East End shop is where the J's and the Y6B and the Y3s were built.
Tony's memories are vivid and paint a wonderful picture of those grand days when steam was king. Tony's empire is one of the largest individually owned layouts in existence. It fills a 45 by 65 foot space in his office building and features a classification yard, coal mine, 2 large trestles, a passenger terminal, roundhouse, turntable, and an engine servicing area. Counting the yard tracks, sidings, and the double-track main line, there's over a real mile of O-gauge track on the layout, including several loops on different levels. Tony's love affair with trains goes back a long, long time. He recalls his childhood desires to own a train set and the sacrifices his parents had to make in order to buy him one.
Well, I had a paper route for the Roanoke Times newspaper. And with the Roanoke Times on my paper route, there was a Lionel electric train shop over in southwest Roanoke. I don't remember the street now. I think it had been Luck Avenue. And then they had another place there called Jennings and Shepherd's. They're out of business now. And they sold American Flyer and Lionel. And on my paper route, every week I would stop and buy a piece. And back then, I think my first train set was a 675 engine. I don't remember the set number. And my mother and my father told me after I got up in age that they worked for almost a month to buy me my first train set. And because my mother was an elevator operator and my father was a porter at the Greyhound bus station. Well, I still have that train.
While he started out with Lionel trains, Tony developed a soft spot in his heart for Mike's Train House. His preference for MTH is about the hardships, challenges, and rewards of starting up and operating a business, something with which Tony is very familiar.
Well, why really, to be honest with you, that I fell in love with MTH. Number one, they make a very, very good product. But number two is I looked at Mike Wolf as the underdog, and I've been the underdog in my business all of my life. And, you know, I started out with a Ford stake body truck many years ago. And I looked at all the big companies that have tried to put me down and push me out of the way, and companies to take my business and so forth. And I've had an uphill fight all of my life to get to where I am today. I have never had an 8A contract or any government subsidy contracts. I got it all from right here, the gut, and from my brain. And I started I used to work in the post office. I was a mailman in the post office. I just had to move on and go in business for myself. And in 1984, started off with a little stake body truck. And today I run about 70 Mack trucks, and I have over 100 and some people working for me, and I have a recycling plant. I have a garbage transfer station, and I'm right in the middle of the process of buying a landfill. So we have moved up inch by inch, and it's all has been a real fight. So I look at Mike with all the other big companies out there has tried to stop him and trample him down and have done everything under the sun, including industrial sabotages and everything else. And I see Mike and his company and the struggles that he's gone through, and it reminds me so much of myself. So I can't help but to like MTH. This empire started out, it was just Bill and I, and we just had a lot of fun. We just went out and I just bought a bunch of plywood, and it was all flat, and we just bought some 3-rail Lionel track, and we just ran it all around the room, and everything was all flat. So, Bill and I used to come here, and we'd just come in here and just run trains. We would run Lionel trains at the time because there wasn't no DCS then. And then, you know, from reading your magazine, TT magazine, and looking at different other people's layouts and going to different meets and layout things, you get to learn more about it. So everything started growing like trees and buildings that we would need, and so that's how this layout really came about. And the longer that you're into trains, the more you want to be prototypical. I got to the point that I didn't want a toy-looking layout anymore. I wanted a layout that looked more like what that I grew up with. You know, the scenery. If you notice the mountains here, they all look like West Virginia or the Blue Ridge of Virginia. So, and that's what I tried to model of what that I grew up around, and that's how this layout came about. I think we have over 5,000 and some feet of track. That's including the yards and things. I had a lot of help here of professional people that knew how to build trestles, put trees together, build houses and plants and things like this. Sure, I had an idea of a track plan and things like this, but there was a lot of other professional people, that came in here to help. Even with the track, there was Steve from Ross and just so many people. I just can't name them all, Of course, there was Bill. Bill did all of the electrical wiring here. So that's how this layout really, came about. And we just wanted things to be more realistic than for everything to look toy-like.
Tony mentioned having to hire professional modelers to help build his empire. One of the people he brought in was noted structure builder Howard Zane, who designed and built many of the buildings, including this station. As a tribute to him, Tony has named this village Zanesville. Most personal layouts are located in homes, but this club-size layout is located at Tony's office. When things get a little frustrating, all he has to do to relax is get up and walk into the train room for a breath of fresh air.
The biggest thing that I get out of it is having the pleasure to walk out of my office in here, shut my door, and put a do not disturb sign on it, and can't nobody bother me, and all my frustration goes away because I'm running my trains. And the other thing is to see, really the thing that really touches me is when all the little kids come in and you see their eyes get big as $50. And they say, Mr. Lash, what is this? Daddy, what is this? Mommy, what is this? Mommy, can I have that? And I mean, just the joy and the happiness, it's like Christmas morning all over again right in July for the kids that come in here from 5 to 9 years old. I mean, their eyes and things just light up and a smile get on their face. And they all of them have all of these questions to answer. And when I'm here, I take the pleasure to answer each and every one of them's questions. And the same thing with Bill. I think Bill gets a big kick out of the same thing of even the grown-ups when they come in and their eyes just light up when they see the layout. And that's what I really get out of it, is seeing people are happy and, oh, I want to try this. How did you do this? How did you model that? And we're going to, to explain to them how you can do this, how you get this color, this, that, and other. So that's my biggest pleasure out of it.
Tony's a hard worker and has created a successful business and a fantastic layout. There's an old saying that goes like this: those that work hard, play hard. In Tony's case, we might want to change that phrase just a bit. He works big and he plays big.